Hello friends, this is Terry, Reiki Master, Teacher, and Astrologer with a little mini astrology reading today about the Cetus the Whale Constellation. And I am recording this in October 2022, just as we are about to have this total blood moon eclipse in Taurus that will be right in the region of Cetus the Whale Constellation. So I thought it would be a good time to tell you guys more about that. And you can watch my entire Taurus lunar eclipse video. I have that in a separate video. And today I just want to hone in on these little constellations. I love to look at the night sky. And I use this beautiful little phone app. It is called Skyview Light. And you can just get this for free. It's just a free app. And it will tell you where in the night sky everything's happening. You can go out at night in your backyard and look at Venus, who's been moving and grooving, and she's about to become evening star. And you can look at Mars and Jupiter. Oh my gosh, when Jupiter came in so strong this year. I love to just look at all these constellations. And we do have this procession of the stars where the stars, our mathematical equations of the stars are just a little bit off because the stars are moving. Of course, we are moving in this galaxy. And so this eclipse is actually happening closer to Aries at 23 degrees of Aries, I believe, or 2 degrees of Aries. But anyways, it's closer to this Cetus, the Whale Constellation, than it actually is to Taurus, even though we see this as a Taurus blood moon eclipse. And that's a whole nother video. But for now, I just want to do the deep dive in to this Cetus, the Whale Constellation, and the star Difta, who is coming in really strong too. And what I find so interesting about this is I remember doing a video. I have to go dig up that video. Maybe I'll link it below. I did a video just as we were beginning that whole COVID 2020. It was in like January or February of 2020. And I remember we had a full moon at that time that was also related to Cetus the Whale, and the Difta star was coming in so powerful. And I took out my night sky star app, and I'm not sponsored by them, I promise. I just love this app. I only have the free one. If they want to bump me up to the paid one, I'd love it. But anyways, I just looked at that Difta star and I read all about it, and I thought, whoa, this is an omen of something not great, because Cetus is also known as the sea monster. And it's got this lure of just a little bit negative, I'm not going to lie. And I can't really sweet talk this one. I knew it wasn't good back in 2020. And now it kind of feels like hopefully we are just closing this cycle. Maybe we have completed the cycle of whatever all that was when Difta came in so prominent before. And now we're coming back around. It's a Difta return. And I like to think that maybe we are nearing the end of whatever that was, because I really truly believe 2023 is going to be a more positive time. And Chinese astrologers call this Difta star Tu Si Kung, meaning master of construction or the superintendent of Earth's works. And this star is a symbol of creation and dramatic change. How's that for a lunar eclipse? That's what eclipses are all about, dramatic change. And this fixed star has the nature of Saturn. And this eclipse, we have a Saturn square. So sadly, this star can be considered unfortunate as a star. Difta can cause mental distress and even mental disorders, self-destruction through violence, illness, and aggressions. This is definitely an eclipse I want to just hide out at home on my couch bed or something. And this Difta star can also provoke great transformation that can no longer be postponed. So I think so often in life we know we need to make a change in one area or another, and we just keep putting it off. Well, I'll get into shape later. I'll do that later. But this could be kind of like a health crisis that comes, and you can't put off your health any longer, or it could be just some kind of huge change that it just has to happen now. Like the universe spirit is saying, you need to make a change right now. And that is Difta star. It's a little spooky. And it can bring both psychological and physical inhibitions and limitations and obstacles. I got my Ganesh with me here today. Ganesh helps you overcome those obstacles. We will be seeing obstacles with this Difta star, this unfortunate stars. And one of my friends reminded me that I told her to hide out until the eclipses were over. She's an Aquarius, and of course this eclipse is squaring Aquarius, and it's true. You might want to hide your queens, your kings, and your children, especially if they are Aquarius, because we got this bad star rising. Whew. And when Difta is coming in strong and it's this close to the moon and to Uranus, let alone to a blood moon eclipse, we can have emotional and mental breakdowns. And this whole Taurus Scorpio year, it's been that breakdown to breakthrough. And we may see some temporary insanity in our world. There could be some crazy stuff going on, literally lunacy, right? The lunatic, like the moon, the luna, la luna. Will have people acting like lunatics. So we might even see violent eruptions in our world. And I hate to say that, but it's kind of scary because it's so close to the election. And then we might have this violence. And I really worry about the Russian-Ukraine region right now too, because this eclipse in astrocartography, it's really affecting Russia and Ukraine, and it's most emphasized over that region. So if we can all say a collective prayer of protection for Ukraine, because if something bad was going to happen, I would say it could be on this blood moon eclipse. And Difta can also cause treachery, and secrets may emerge now that can just ruin someone. And we are seeing this influence in America with the Herschel in the news, having so many women breaking their silence about their abortions as he's running. And so much can be revealed right now with this eclipse. We are really going to see things unearthed and secrets revealed and all kinds of things exposed to the light of this Difta star. And Difta, I'm going to put a picture in here because Difta is just one of about 28 stars that are in Cetus the Whale or Sea Monster Constellation. I don't have time to do all 28 stars. I'm sorry. I would love to. I just want to spend my day just looking at every single star, I swear. This is why astrology just eats my brain. But I do want to talk about the Cetus, the Whale Constellation overall, and the meaning that it holds for this blood moon lunar eclipse, because Cetus was sent to devour Andromeda in the Greek mythology, but Cetus was turned to stone by the sight of the Medusa snakehead in the hands of Perseus. And it's a really long story to unpack, and I'm recording this right before work, but I'll try to get through it. It really relates to betrayal and abandonment of one's father. And so many people I know have issues of betrayal and abandonment of their fathers. If you have that, I would love to know. We could start a club. But anyways, so many of us can relate to that. And long ago, there was a king, Eclipse of Argos, who received a divine prediction from an oracle that his daughter, Danae, would have a son who would be the reason this king, Eclipse, would die. And Eclipse tried to protect his own life by placing his daughter, Danae, in a dungeon, basically hiding her away so she would never, ever bear this son, as a way to protect himself from his fated destiny, which never works because Zeus found Danae in hiding, and Zeus impregnated her, as Zeus always does through all the myths. And Perseus was the son of Zeus and Danae, the daughter of Acrisius. And as an infant, he was cast into the sea with his mother on a rickety old boat by Acrisius, the king, who hoped the rough seas would kill them off. But they didn't die. They made it all the way to the island of Seriphus, where the king Polydectes fell in love with Danae, who was not at all interested in him. But King Polydectes was sure it was because of her now grown son, Perseus, getting in his way. So he tricked Perseus into going off to kill Medusa, the goddess with the snakes. And of course, that goddess with the snakes, if you know the goddess religion, those snakes are representative of divine, feminine energy, the goddess in her most powerful state. So Perseus is sent off to basically destroy the goddess. And Perseus was young and he didn't know much, but he decided he would go away on this impossible mission, and the king was just hoping that everybody keeps trying to kill Perseus off, but Perseus is a warrior, man. He's young and healthy and strong, and you just can't kill those young, healthy, strong men. So for the second time, a king tries to kill Perseus off by sending him away, and Perseus gains all these goddesses and friends that help him survive. He was aided by Athena, the goddess Athena, and the sisters of Gorgons and the Gray and the nymphs, who gave him winged sandals to enable him to fly. That's why Perseus, you see his constellation, and this eclipse is really close to Perseus. His constellation, which is right there by the whale and Andromeda. They're all there in the night sky. Get out your phone app and look in the night sky and see if you can find all these constellations. Perseus, Andromeda, and Cetus the Whale, all there together. So Perseus has these beautiful winged sandals that were gifted to him, and he can fly now. And then he's given the cap of Hades that enables him to become invisible. So Medusa can't stone him because he can make himself invisible, because we know Medusa is that snake goddess. If she looks at you, you turn to stone. It's such a Halloween story. I'm wearing my Halloween shirt today because we're close to Halloween. And he was also gifted a powerful curved sword or sickle that he could use to chop off Medusa's head and to decapitate her, in a magical bag that he could put her head in that would conceal her power, because she is the most powerful divine feminine energy snake goddess. And this is such a story of the masculine and the feminine. And this story just also shows how one who has a tragic childhood, as Perseus has been killed off by his grandpa, and then he's killed off by a king, and he survives it all, but he survives by making friends. It's by making friends with Athena, by making friends with the nymphs, by making friends everywhere he goes. So even if you've had a really rough go and a horrible childhood, don't give up. You can just create your own family of friends, and that will help you survive. That's the story I get. And Perseus goes and guides himself by reflection in a shield that was given to him by Athena, so that he could behead Medusa while she sleeps, and he won't be seen by her. He's so clever. He's such a survivor. And as he was returning to the island that his mother was on, where that king had sent him away, he sees Andromeda, goddess Andromeda, who has been chained to a tree, and she is being sent out as an offering to Cetus the whale, the awful sea monster. Her parents were told by Zeus to put Andromeda, chain her to a tree and offer her to Cetus, the great whale sea monster. And if the whale took Andromeda, that Ethiopia would be saved. So that's crazy. And Andromeda also has horrible parents who want to kill her. And so Perseus and Andromeda have that in connection, and they immediately fall madly in love. And of course, Perseus, the great warrior, saves the day, saves Andromeda. And then he takes Medusa's head out of the magical bag and puts Medusa's head facing the whale and turns Cetus the whale into stone. It's such a remarkable story. And then Andromeda and Perseus go off together and fall madly in love and have a happily ever after. And if you think you had a bad childhood, I just want you to think about Perseus and Andromeda, whose parents tried to kill them repeatedly, and they both survived. And so this is a story about surviving childhood trauma right here. And if you had a bad childhood, these are your heroes, Perseus and Andromeda. And this is the kind of emotions that can come up during this Taurus blood moon eclipse. I think we'll all be feeling triggered by some old childhood wounds of betrayal, abandonment, neglect, horrible parents out there in the world that do their damage, that really sticks with us. And this eclipse wants us to let those feelings come up. Give yourself some time and space for those old childhood wounds, old childhood traumas to come up and be released. Maybe you can do a fire ceremony and release it. Yeah, all of us are going to be feeling all the feels, because I think so many of us have experienced some kind of childhood traumas, and that kind of thing will be coming up. But then there is a happy ending. Perseus and Andromeda did go off in love, so you can have a happy ending. Even if you had a hard childhood, you can make new friends, you can still find love, you can still pull up your bootstraps and make something of your life. And thank you so much for watching this Cetus the Whale Constellation.